Hey, gang, your wait is over. The Femmes of Rock play the classic rock on violins and perform tonight at the Parks Casino. Sebastian Bach, former lead singer of Skid Row, brings his solo tour to headline Saturday night, tomorrow night. Southern rock gods, the Marshall Tucker Band in August. September 7 is the return of Australian Pink Floyd. Plus, from the TV show Jersey Shore, the It's Happening podcast live with Snooki and Joey. Coming to Parks Casino on June 28. Also, comedian Michael Blaustein on October 25th. All at Parks Casino, the #1 casino experience in the state of Pennsylvania. They've got it all under one roof. 3,200 state-of-the-art slot machines, 115 live table games, beautiful poker room, state-of-the-art sports book, dining options for whatever your taste might be, Parks Grill Steakhouse, Liberty Bell Gastropub and Beer Garden, delicious sushi and hand rolls at the Bamboo Noodle House, and you get to see New York's finest club comedians every other Thursday in the 360 Lounge, and Joe Conklin, Philly's own, is your host. So visit parkscasino.com, Parks Casino, spelled P-A-R-X Casino. This is how you win. Got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Time now for the headlines from the Friday edition of the newsletter. Hey, I've been talking a great deal about Michael Cohen's testimony with a variety of guests and offering different insights. For the benefit of those who are tuned in on YouTube, and by the way, you can watch TC and me deliver the headlines if you go to my YouTube channel. But Aleko, put on the screen if you would. There it is. Doesn't that look cool, TC? You can actually see.
I love that.
You can see the transcript.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
I always say, like, tomorrow, I'm going to rely on that piece of transcript of Michael Cohen's cross-examination. And I always say to my CNN team, don't recreate it in a fancy slide.
You want it to be legit. Show it. Yes.
Like, and by the way, this has a very significant typo in it.
Oh.
But show it.
What significant typo does it have?
So here's the exchange. I'll do it one more time.
Okay.
Here's the exchange between Todd Blanche and Michael Cohen. Question, and leave it up, Aleko, until I read it, and thank you. When you testified on Tuesday that you had a specific recollection that the 1 minute and 36 minute, it should say 1 minute 36 second, they've got, the record of it, phone call on October 24 was not with Keith Schiller, that you called Keith Schiller and he passed the phone to President Trump. You finalized the deal with Stormy Daniels and you said, we're going to move forward. And he said yes, because you kept him informed all the time. That was your testimony, right? Answer, that's correct. Question, that was a lie. You were actually talking to Mr. Schiller about the fact that you were getting harassing phone calls from a 14-year-old, correct? Michael Cohen says part of it was the 14-year-old, but I know that Keith was with Mr. Trump at the time, and there was more than potentially just this. That's what I recall based upon the documents that I reviewed. Big faux pas by not only Michael Cohen, a faux pas is, I think, putting it nicely, but also by the prosecutors, because despite all of their preparation work with Michael Cohen, they hadn't looked at the texts coinciding with the timing of that call, and it really exposed a weakness in the case. So court is dark today. You know that by now. And next week they'll be back at it on Monday. It'll still be the cross-examine of Michael Cohen.
Okay, so when are we wrapping up? Where put us.
So I had this
back.
conversation with Ellie Honig, and I had it before the stumbling blocks that Michael Cohen has hit. I said, when I heard the prosecution say that Michael Cohen would be their final witness, I said, I think that's risky. Like, put in a buffer. Save a witness so that if Michael Cohen implodes, you can sort of reset the deck.
Like that's not the last thing the jury sees?
Yes, correct. Okay. But apparently, now they can always change this, but apparently that's not the case. Apparently, it will be Michael Cohen back on the stand on Monday. What's going to happen is there will be redirect. So the prosecution will attempt to rehabilitate him after Todd Blanche is finished. And for sure, they're going to go back to this, and they're going to say, you remember that Mr. Blanche asked you about the Keith Schiller. Tell me now, what was this? You know what I mean?
Wait, what? How are they going to rehabilitate that?
It's going to be tough, but they're going to have to try and do something, because it's not just, Ellie and I reading the transcripts. It's Anderson Cooper who was in the courtroom and says, hey, I was there, and it was, devastating was the word that he used. So then what happens? now the prosecution will rest, either at the end of Michael Cohen or maybe they call an additional witness. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised that there are not election law experts. This theoretically is a case about a violation of election law. Where's the election law expert in all of this? So maybe something along those lines. And then now it's the defense turn. And despite what Donald Trump has said, I see zero prospect that he will take the stand and open himself up to cross-examination. I just don't think that it happens. So the real question is whether the defense puts on any case whatsoever. They're not obligated to do so. And sometimes this gets done with a sense of bravado that they call no witnesses. And then in their closing argument, they say, we called no witnesses because they didn't meet their burden. And the burden is totally on them.
Do you think that the last day of Michael Cohen, what we've all been talking about, do you think that makes it more likely that they won't? In other words, now
that they won't put on witnesses?
Right.
Yes.
And
yeah, because they had a good day yesterday.
What about the question that I've been hearing floating on one of the screens here about a directed verdict? What
That's
can you tell
not
me about
happening.
That? Okay.
Okay, so there are a number of motions that get made at different stages of either a civil or criminal case. Before you ever get to trial, you try and have the case dismissed, saying that even if they were to meet factually that which they're alleging, there'd be no violation of law. So there are checks all along the way. And one of them is that before the case goes to the jury, in this case, it would be the defense, they would move for a directed verdict and they would say, Your Honor, based on this record, now that all the evidence is in, there's no way that this jury can intelligently render a verdict against our client, Donald Trump. And they ask the judge to remove it from the jury's hands. And by the way, there's this once happened to me. I tried a case in Delaware that was very clear on the facts, and I lost. And I filed a motion.
Should you have lost?
No.
Oh, in other words, it was clear on the facts, and you should have won.
I should have won.
Oh.
By the way, if I should have lost, I would tell you.
I know
should have lost.
I get it.
No, this was an egregious case. I'm just going to tell you that my client was an African-American female. The judge was African-American. Everybody on the jury was white. And I believe race was the factor in this case. And I filed for a motion of a judgment notwithstanding the verdict. And it was granted. Yeah. So this was a case where even after the jury rendered its verdict, I went back to the judge and said, that was ridiculous. And the judge agreed in my case.
And then was it overturned?
Then my client died.
Oh, bless. I'm sorry.
Then my client died.
Okay. Wow.
Karen Carter. Happy to name her.
Okay.
Karen Carter.
Oh, gosh.
Terrible. It's funny how those things hang with you.
Oh, for sure.
I probably tried that case 15 years ago.
15?
Yeah.
I didn't try that case 15 years ago. I've been with you for 21. You haven't tried any cases.
21 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Tried that case more than 21 years
ago.
Exactly.
You probably tried that case 25 years ago.
Yeah. She was a woman who had a history of breast cancer in her family. To look at the family tree would have been easier to determine who didn't have it. Because everybody had it.
Oh, gosh.
And had a lump in her breast.
Oh, no.
And goes to see a physician who did not order a mammogram for her.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And she died of breast cancer.
Oh, no.
When it metastasized.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I just got thrown for a loop here. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how the trial was going to end.
The case is going to wrap up.
Okay.
The case is going to wrap up next week.
Wow.
The case is going to wrap up next week.
Jeez.
By the way, do you know who my Sherpa was in that trial? You're not going to believe this. Charlie Brandt.
Charlie Brandt. I heard you paint houses.
Charlie Brandt, who wrote the book on which the Scorsese movie, based on, I heard you.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, I have a mental block.
Yeah, I heard
you
paint houses.
What's the movie title that Scorsese gave it? I'm going to be so embarrassed.
Why? The Irishman.
The Irishman, of course. Charlie was then, not the book writer and screenwriter that he became. He was a Delaware trial attorney. And he would come to the courtroom as I tried that case, just to sort of sit, monitor, give me counsel.
What a second act.
Wait,
for him.
I want to use this word because he was so well schooled in the vagaries of Delaware, court procedure.
And you were in a different state.
And I was,
Yeah, that matters.
Yeah.
That matters.
Yep.
My cousin Vinny.
There you go.
He could have used a Sherpa.
There you go.
Okay. Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, more headlines now from the Friday edition of the newsletter. TC, what do you like?
Well, I mean, we got to go through and talk about the poll questions.
Go ahead. You do it. I'm going to sip coffee.
Poll results from yesterday, 27,054 votes. We're getting up there. We're gonna break 30 one of these days. Would a guilty verdict in the New York case damage Trump politically, or are the views about him already baked in? 60% with the right answer, baked in.
Agree with that.
Today's poll question, do you agree with Mitt Romney that Joe Biden should have pardoned Donald Trump? We'll see how that one ends up. He said that he should have done that because that would have made President Biden seem like a big man and President Trump seem like a little man.
Right. Big guy. Big guy. Bad word choice, because big guy has a whole meaning in MAGAville as a result of Tony Bobulinski saying that, there was reference relative to Hunter about the big guy. I forget how many dollars for the big guy. And, the big guy is Joe Biden. I don't know if Romney had that subliminally when he said that.
Stick in your head sometimes. Like I sometimes use the same word 17 times in one exchange.
Let me just mention, today is the 17th of May.
Right.
Hunter, and you never know if this is going to go off.
No.
Hunter is scheduled to go on trial next month.
Right around the debate?
Right around the debate.
Oh, jeez.
Right around the debate.
Michael, I swear.
I know. And again, the
intangibles.
I can't. The things you could never imagine happening.
We're going to get the dog, the goat, the football player, the 14-year-old Hunter.
It's insane. It's insane. And all being chronicled in cartoons for the Smerconish.com newsletter. Maybe 1,000 books is not going to be enough.
Oh. I'm usually very conservative with these things, but I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I just don't want them in my garage. Honestly, I don't.
With the hats?
I don't want to be. The hats are gone. The hats are gone. The hats. I wish I had more hats.
Yeah, right there it is. He's reaching for it. Yep, mine's packed for the weekend already.
I love this. This hat was like the best merch that they're all gone.
I have the. Yeah,
there are no hats in my garage.
I have the test one, so I have one with an even bigger one.
Yeah,
the only one like
that. It's a big fat head of mine.
Makes me really happy.
No, I just don't want the books. The books won't wear well. They'll get all damp.
Yeah.
I don't want the books.
Okay, they need to be on someone's coffee table, perfectly pristine. And,
I think I'm going to talk to Buzz Teacher.
Well, I still have this one. This is the.
Oh, whoa! I promised that.
No, you promised it to me.
No.
Yes, you did.
No,
you
Jamal. I promised it to Jamal.
Absolutely not.
Jamal's watching right now.
Jamal, no.
No, TC.
He promised it to
serious.
me. No. You promised it to me.
What are you going to do with it?
Put it on my coffee table.
There's nothing in it.
I almost brought it
By the way, that
already.
would actually be chic.
I think that's why I want to bring it on my coffee table.
That's hysterical.
Absolutely. No, it's mine. Sorry. No.
Okay, we'll have to discuss this.
No, there's no discussion.
Jamal
understands.
I committed
Jamal,
to you.
You and me. No, he didn't.
I swear I did.
He committed to me first.
I did.
Well, that was incorrect. This is unbelievable behavior.
I'll get it for you, Jamal.
No, he will not get it for you. He will not. That is not true. Love to our friends in Houston. Boy, those storms in Houston. Oh my gosh, people killed by falling cranes, tree branches.
Yeah,
terrible stuff going on in
terrible.
Houston. Speaking of terrible stuff, if you're up in Boston following that Karen Reed
What
murder
the hell?
trial,
What the hell?
Okay, the piece that you chose, by the way, from the NBC Boston affiliate is fantastic.
I think maybe hat tip to Alice. I think she
Thank you, Alice.
I think she may have helped me find what tells the best story.
This is it because there are so many pieces.
Yeah.
She's the only one being charged with the murder, but the whole witnesses and who saw what and who said what, and it is.
May I read the first two paragraphs?
Insane.
The Karen Reed murder trial, like in any other news cycle,
We'd be all over this.
This would be huge, but there's just so much. The Karen Reed murder trial has created a spectacle in the town of Canton, Massachusetts, as dozens of witnesses, partygoers, first responders, investigators, and more are summoned to Norfolk Superior Court to recount their memories and insight surrounding the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe in 2022. While prosecutors allege that Reed backed into O'Keefe, her boyfriend, while dropping him off at a house party on a blustery January night, her defense team has fired back with claims of a massive cover-up. The defense's theory centers on close-knit family ties and small-town politics leading to an innocent woman being framed. Reed has been charged with second-degree murder, which she denies. No one else is facing charges in the case.
Yeah, it is small town. It is families that are intertwined. It is a police department that is part of the whole situation. I mean, it is absolutely bonkers. This case is bonkers. Her expressions in court are at issue. She is
they caught her in an angry
glamorous.
moment.
They caught her
in an angry
They caught
moment.
her at a snap.
Yeah,
and
like,
all of a sudden you look at that and you're like,
yeah.
oh, like it scared me.
She went from like being a
Beautiful.
Boston hottie to all of a sudden, ooh, my God.
Oh, and then you me. This is what I think. Is that what happened in that car?
Right.
Is that what happened?
I totally agree.
Terrible.
I totally agree.
So yeah, that's we got to maybe circle back to that. I don't even know, but yeah, the prosecutors listed 87 people they're considering calling as witnesses, and this piece lays out how everyone is intertwined.
So a lot of controversy surrounding Harrison Butker for his commencement speech. I assume, sophisticated POTUS audience, you're aware of the issue here. Yahoo has a story where there's an allegation out there about him in college having hooked up with a male cheerleader.
Yes.
I have no idea if that's true. If it's true, maybe it's in... Look, I should address this when I have more time to address this in terms of his controversial commencement speech. The whole business about praising his wife for her role as a homemaker was not offensive to me, and I don't think was problematic in front of that audience. The anti-LGBTQ stuff, like, come on.
Well, I mean, you can say, come on, but isn't that what the Catholic Church believes? So No, believe me, I agree.
Wait, what am I doing?
You're giving out communion?
No.
What are you doing?
I'm taking the potatoes and I'm leaving the Jell-O and I'm working my way down the cafeteria line.
I know, but my point is, I don't think he's a cafeteria Catholic. I think he is a
No, he's not.
My,
I am.
And
he's full on.
No, I'm not
he's
saying,
full on.
Wait a minute. You're missing my point. I'm saying that if you're saying that audience didn't have a problem with the way he had conservative and very tight views of what a man should be and a woman should be, then it shouldn't be a surprise that he also is anti-gay, because the church is anti-gay. So,
Right. Now, is Ashley Madison anti-gay? That's the question.
I think Ashley Madison is just for heterosexual couples. Maybe it's for gay couples.
I used to hear those commercials.
I should know that.
Because they were a big Howard advertiser.
Oh.
I used to hear those commercials all the time.
What could possibly go wrong?
And then this was like a dating site for married people, right? A site for infidelity, I think is the way that I would explain it. And I used to wonder, what's the proportion of male to female in their client base? And what I remember about Ashley Madison is that there were stories written, not recently, that talked about the lopsided nature of it. Like it was, I'll paint with a broad brush. It was like all guys. And now the new story is about individuals who have a profile. I don't know if they're quite celebrities, who have been outed because their names were in those files.
So their tagline is, life is short, have an affair. And they have over 37 million unfaithful spouses who have taken the bait creating profiles. So is the idea that everyone on the site is married? Or are there single women who are willing to sleep with married guys?
I don't know. I just remember hearing the ads all the time. And then I haven't heard anything about it until this story popped.
Well, yeah, but there was a hack in 2015 and a lot of people were outed. And now, again, a lot of people are being outed. So there you go.
Can I say finally, and I hope I get to see them on tour because they're out on the road. I also put in the newsletter today a story from the Washington Post, which is a great profile of Ann and Nancy Wilson. Speaking of Howard, they were guests of Howard Stern recently, and I loved the interview. They still have it. And I saw Hart. I've seen Hart several times over the years, but my recollection is, I got to go back and see if this is actually true, that in junior high school, I saw Hart open for the Beach Boys.
Okay, come on. Seriously?
With my friend, the esteemed attorney James Benstead.
Come on.
And I believe that Benny and I went to see, and Tim Schick, I think he was there too.
Of course he was.
And somebody else who I probably forget, and somebody's dad drove us. Like somebody's dad drove us to the Spectrum to see the Beach Boys, and Hart.
That's amazing.
Was the opener. Yeah. All right. On that note, Have a good Friday. Listen to TC After Dark, 200th celebration. I'll see you, I hope, on CNN in the morning, which means a 7:30 YouTube. If you've never attended one of the YouTubes, how about 7:30 on a Saturday morning? Just, turn on your computer. See ya.